Right, welcome again to A2 Lesson 10. Today we are going to be discussing defining relative clauses using who, which, that, where as the relative pronouns. The relative clause first. A relative clause gives is a clause that gives more information about a noun. Means like it gives more information about a person, a thing, or a place. It connects two ideas into one sentences using the relative pronouns like who, which, that, where. Let's take example one. I can have two sentences. I have a friend, and she lives in Kigali. Those are two separate things. I have a friend, one, then the second. She lives in Kigali. It's one person we are talking about. Then we are going to join these two and formulate one clause. I have a friend who lives in Kigali. This who lives in Kigali is what we call a relative clause. Remember, it is joined by a relative pronoun. Now, why do we use relative clauses? They help you to avoid repetition, to sound more fluent, to combine short sentences smoothly. For example, think of I met a man, the man is a doctor. Why do I have to repeat like man, man? Why do I have to do such repetition when I have easier way to join them and make one sentence of I met a man who is a doctor? The same meaning and simpler way. Let's see the key relative pronouns. We use who when we talk about people, we use which when we talk about things or animals. We use that when we talk about people or things. We use where when we talk about places. Example, the teacher who teaches English is kind. This who is talking about what? The teacher. Then, what teacher? The one who teaches English. Then what should we know about that teacher? Is kind. The phone which I bought is expensive. This which is talking about the phone. The car that I drive is new. We can use that when we talk about people or things. It is the most common than which or who. The restaurant where we ate was beautiful. This where is replacing the place to try to join the place which is talking about the restaurant. How do we form relative clauses? Rule. We put relative clause immediately after a noun and it describes. We put it before we put it just immediately after the noun it is going to describe, which means that the noun which is followed by a relative clause, it is the noun being described. Example, I like people who are honest. This who is describing this noun people. She has a job which she loves. This which is describing the job, the noun job. Means like the relative clause is following exactly a noun. That's the cafe where we met. Let's compare sentences. I know a girl. She can speak 5 languages. Those are two separate sentences. Then when I form one sentence with a relative clause, I know a girl who can speak 5 languages. This is the book I told you about. Let's join the two. This is the book which I told you about. That is the place we met there. That is the place where we met. Remember when we are forming this actually when we are forming these sentences and take a deeper look, we join it using a relative pronoun who, and it is following a noun girl. We have which, and this which follows a noun book. We have where. This where is replacing a place. And when we look, we did not bring in again this there. Why? This there in the second sentence was talking about the place. So because we have used here a place, we don't have to bring in there again. That's something you should know at this extent. Because we have place in the first sentence, the second we have there talking about the place. So I don't have to bring in there again here. And again, when we have who, here, I know a girl. This girl is again is in the first sentence. The second sentence, which talks about a girl, is she, which means here we don't have to bring in she again. Don't say I know a girl who she can speak. No, 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 don't do that, because it was replaced by who, and it was talked about on the first noun before the relative clause. Practice 1. Let's complete the following sentences. The teacher dash dash teaches English is kind. The car dash dash he bought is new. I met a girl dash dash lives near my house. This is the restaurant dash dash we usually have lunch. I have a phone dash dash takes great pictures. Exercise 2. Join the sentences using a relative clause. In the first practice, you're just going to fill in the answer who, which, that, where, like that. But in the second, you're going to use a relative clause joining two sentences. I know a man. He works in a bank. This is the dog. It loves playing with children. That's the place. I was born there. She wore a dress. It was beautiful. I have a friend. He lives in Tanzania. Here we are having wore, which is a past of wear, to put on clothes, to wear. To wear, then we say she wore. The first one, we have here a man in the first sentence, and again in the second we say he. This is the dog, then in the second we have it, the same subject. We have here the place, and we have there. We have address, and here we have it. Here we have a friend, and we have he. Remember, don't bring in these second words in the second sentence. Don't bring in those words. For example, when you go on this first one, you say, I know a man who works in a bank. Don't bring in he again. Underline the relative clause in each sentence. Underline the relative clause. I will just give you example on the first one, then you will do it on the rest. People who live next door are not very nice. We have who live next door. The car that I drive is first. The cafe where we met last week. This is the cafe where we met last week. The film which we watched was boring. I have a friend who can speak Chinese. You're going to underline just like I did here. Let's do a quick quiz. The movie dash dash we watched was great. I have a friend dash dash plays guitar. The restaurant dash dash we had lunch was expensive. That's the teacher dash dash teaches English. The phone dash dash bought is new. So much. I hope to see you next.